everybody. Welcome to the Omniverse of Axum, which is my next game project, which I'm designing on boardgamegeek.com. In this video, I will explain everything about the base game or the family game. If you want to play Axum, you must surf to boardgamegeek.com or click on the link in the description and download the files. You can choose between a low ink version or a full color version. Print out the cards, tiles, boards and cut them. You also need 5 meeples in 4 colors. First of all, put the waste wheel on one side of the table. Then choose 2 goal cards, one with a black hex and one with a white hex, and put them next to the waste wheel. Give every player their meeples. Every player should get 9 rocket or ship tiles, 9 TV or portal tiles, and 8 planet or colony tiles. Then every player also needs 5 meeples in their color. Construct a game board as depicted in the game rules. The number of players defines the size and shape of the board. Now it's time to fill the waste wheel. Every player places 3 ships, 3 portals and 3 colony tiles on the waste wheel. Make sure you place minimum 1 and maximum 2 of your tiles on every empty space of the waste wheel. During the game, every player will always have exactly 9 tiles on the waste wheel. Put the other tiles aside, they form your draw pile. Finally, put your start pawn on the start tile on the game board. Now you're ready to play the game. In Axum, you build a civilization on the game board. Civilizations are rewarded with victory points as depicted on the 2 selected goal cards. The player that earns most victory points wins the game. So let's have a look at the gameplay. During a player's turn, there's always one active player and a number of passive players. Every turn consists of 3 phases. The first phase is the cleanup phase. If you are the active player, you choose one area on the waste wheel and empty it completely. The second phase is the building phase. If you are the active player, you start by building 1 tile on the game board. Then the next player, in clockwise order, builds his or her tile. And you keep on building that way until all the tiles you got from the waste wheel are built. The last phase is the refill phase. Every player counts the number of tiles received in the cleanup phase. Take the same number of tiles from your draw pile and put them on the middle of the waste wheel. You may choose which tiles you put from your draw pile on the middle of the waste wheel. If you are the active player, you then take all the tiles from the middle of the wheel and dispense the tiles evenly on the wheel by adding 1 tile at a time to each area in clockwise order, starting with the area next to the one that was emptied. And that's how you play the rounds, so it's time for the next round. Before we go on, let's zoom in on 2 important elements of Axum. First question: are there building restrictions in space? Well, yes, there are, as you may only build your new tiles adjacent to a tile on which you have one of your pawns. Question 2. What do I do with my pawns? Well, pawns are important as they determine where you can build. The number of colonies determines the maximum number of pawns you can have on the board, so you may never have more pawns than colonies on the board. If you want to put new pawns on the board, you can do that by placing them on your own portals. How many steps may your pawns make together? During your turn, your pawns may make in total as many steps as you have spaceships on the board. You may move or land over other players' tiles, but you may not land on other players' portals, nor may you move over other players' pawns. When a player is no longer able to have 9 tiles on the waste wheel after the refill phase, the game ends. The winner of the game is defined or determined by the goals depicted on the goal cards. So in this example, our yellow player scores 6 victory points for having 3 tiles in a straight line, then another 1 victory point for having 1 ship on the board, then another 2 victory points for having 1 portal next to a colony, the star tile, which is a colony as well, and finally 6 victory points for having 2 colonies in 1 group of colonies, which is his smallest group of colonies. So altogether that makes for 15 victory points. Can you do better? Give it a try. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. In case you're interested in what's coming up next, I'm working on a legacy version of this game with various chapters and deck building elements. I'm also working on a single sheet version for 2 players. Then I also have my other projects. Vika and Thunder Visitors are finished projects. Vika will be published by Board Game Circus, but you can still download an earlier and uglier version on boardgamegeek.com. Then there's also Thunder Visitors, which won the single sheet challenge on boardgamegeek.com a few years ago. Maybe you should check it out if you're into it. Have fun. Thanks.